beautiful souls. I'm Awakened Soul, and I'm gonna be going over BTC, setting it up for our next trade and seeing where BTC is headed. Sorry, I haven't been posting. I was actually feeling under the weather, but I'm back and I'm excited. Monthly time frame, right? Standard trend line. I like to use my magnet turned on, and for my monthly trend lines, they are red. I do use the chakra colors, so sometimes you'll notice I post videos without any noise, so it's just good to kind of learn my colors. So just really brief, I set a trend line here, right? So you just can see price action above the monthly trend line breaking down, and then we're having a retest right now. I'm going to set my range on the monthly time frame. So we have our high there, and our next low would be here because our previous monthly low was um, broken down to the downside, right? So something to be aware. Now we're going to go to our weekly. On our weekly, I'm going to turn on my higher high, lower low indicators. And this is just going to guide me and help me on setting my weekly trend lines, right? I think it's important for you to make this observation, how it's marking a high on red and it's marking here a high in red. Just something to be aware of. Strong resistance trend line. And on my weekly coming in here, right, I'm going to set my range based on the previous candle really quick. So this is going to be my resistance, my support. We broke through the previous candle weekly support, so I'm going to go to my higher low. Okay, so I'm just here also my weekly, I want to throw a trend line here from higher low to next higher low. I think it's important for you to make this observation that we did break that trend line. So if this higher low does break, I do see price action coming down to 22.9, right? And that would be my weekly target. Another thing that's important on my weekly is your supply and demand. Supply and demand is key when you're trading the market. You need to understand it because it's a supply and demand game, right? So I do use this supply and demand indicator. I like it personally. There's plenty of them out there, so find whatever resonates with you. So just turning on that indicator, it's guiding me and it's showing me that this is our major supply zone right here. Sorry, wrong. So right here at 25, right? So I'm going to highlight this area, this zone. Supply and demand acts like a magnet towards price action. So just based on the supply, I'm getting that confluence of a possible 25. And another thing that's important to mark is that is a key level, right? If I was taught, and this is a secret for everyone that's here, on my weekly time frame, I was taught that if price action's above the 21 simple moving average, right, we're in an uptrend. If price action is under the 21 simple on the weekly, we're in a downtrend. So that 25 where our supply is also confluence where my 21 on the weekly is at. So this is critical zone for me, and I think everybody should mark it. I'm gonna mark it in white, right? And you could also just visualize how this structurally, this zone is a structure we broke out. So if price action comes back down within this zone, you know, it would be under the 21 weekly. That's giving bearish trend, and we're entering back to the zone, right? Also, I mean, just observing it, what does it look like? It looks like a rising wedge, right, on the weekly. So if this is factual and this plays out, I mean, rising wedges break to the downside. So definitely consider 22.9 as my next target on the weekly. On my daily, I like to use the 1226 EMAs in my indicator just to show me the trend, right? I want to see if we're in a bearish or in a bullish trend, and on my daily we could see that, you know, 1226 EMAs are completely crossed and my flow indicator is flipping here. But that's something to consider, that if your daily trend is down, you know, you should be considering shorts, right? Of course, if you're a scalper, it's a different play. So on my daily, I'm going to turn off my supply and demand because I only really like to use it in higher time frames. But on my daily, it's important, or it's also important to understand market structure, understand this is a contraction phase, right? So I like to turn on my higher highs, lower lows, and just look at market structure in general. So we've been creating higher lows on the daily. This was a higher low, so on my daily right here, this is going to be a big range zone. So my dailies are yellow, right? This is going to be a strong zone here for me on my daily. And the reason is, just looking at market structure, right? We understand that we created a higher low. So, and this is a lower high. So either we break and we can confirm an uptrend on our daily, or we conclude this higher low and then continue to the downside, right? They're just possibilities that could definitely play out, something you have to consider for market structure. But let's go in. So on my daily, all I'm going to do is, I did get my range. As you can see, my high is my daily high. And I did mark my low as my lower low as the daily here. Wonderful. And what pattern do I see within this contraction phase, right? What am I noticing? So I have my weekly trend lines. So on my daily, I'm going to connect some trend lines that are going to guide me within price action right now. So this is my daily. It's yellow. Okay. I have to consider this wedge here. So just because this higher low was marked. Okay, let's see if we have any divergence. So RSI is going to the upside. So a friend just told me, right, that he only uses the bodies of the candles, not the wicks, for his RSI. So if that's conclusive, we definitely have some bullish divergence there. I usually use the wicks, to be honest, so I'm still trying to back test this situation. But it's interesting to see this as bullish divergence. But another thing to consider is that what is divergence, right? For me, divergence has always been one of the last things I check on. So back to my daily, right? Understand where we are in the daily. Let's look at our 4-hour contraction phase, right? Market structure, right, guys? So this whole zone right here, this is our contraction phase on the 4-hour. So what is this zone doing? What do you see here? Okay, that's important. That's our key focus. So just off the bat, I was seeing like H, right? Like an inverted H here. Let me turn off the magnet. So I was looking at an inverted H here. So like a turtle, right? So that could definitely be a play. And if we get that measured move, let's check it out. And this is the 4-hour, right? We want to go from high to low, right? If we break that neckline, we're looking at 24 around there, right? And that could give us some confluence to this contraction phase over here. So my line in the sand is 25 200s, but you have to consider, you know, what happened on the left side over here. So you have a lot of like a huge ripsaw right here. So right where my line in the sand, we have that resistance, and this measured move gives me confluence to this wick down. Okay, so this 4-hour you know, inverted cup gives me confluence to this wick right here. So what I think, right, doesn't matter what I think, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm just, it's important to not have emotions when you're here. So you come here, I think it's going to like wick crazy, just like it did right here, and then continue to the downside, right? We're in a down movement, and that's what I'm expecting. Just food for thought here, you know, something similar to this, because imagine the liquidity grab here. If it comes down, right, it's gonna rip a huge, probably go up, and just to grab that liquidity and then come back down, just like it did here. Imagine all the longs, longs, long, boom, and they drop that short before continuing to the upside. So something to consider, right, when we get to this level, level to level. But that's something I am bringing up in my Discord, in my community. And if you're not following me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me. I'm awakensoul underscore 369. I'm an educator. I do have a course, comes with my private Discord, and it's a one-time fee of $11. And I share my plays, I share my art, my setups and whatnot. um consistency, right, is key for this game. So being here, I'm gonna go to my hourly, right? I'm seeing a rejection right there on this daily trend line. What I want to see in my hourly to confirm another short is trend line breaks, right? I trade by trend line breaks. So I'm gonna set this trend line. I'm gonna set my range. What's gonna be my range here? Well, definitely this high, because it's going to give me confluence to that daily trend line here. So this is going to be my high. So I'm going to use it as resistance. And my low is going to be here. So this is my range on the 1 hour. I wanted to choose a side here. It's really strong. It's going to be a beautiful setup for the next play, to be honest with you, because this daily trend line is strong. So if we could get above here, we're going to have a beautiful long. But if we rotate, we know that it got rejected and continued to the downside. Okay, so that's how I would be setting up a course. So let's say if it does break to the upside, what do I expect? Remember this weekly trend line? That's why I color coordinate everything, because I understand my weekly is orange. So this weekly trend line, so if we come up here, right, we have to hold support on our daily trend line and continue up to the upside. And I have to give you a target for the bullish scenario. It's critical as a technical analyst to understand that the charts are going to do whatever they feel like doing. So my first target would be 27,229, just based on my one touch, two touch that I teach. And this is my trend line to the downside. So if we break to the downside, we could have a quick scalp right at 26,166. But we do have major critical zones here that I do expect to break. But again, you know, you can't expect anything with cryptocurrency. So set your alarms. This is your range. This is your next play. Risk to reward. I mean, if we get another double bottom, I think 25 is key. I honestly think price action is coming to 25, guys. And just because of the supply, right? Supply is there. What else do we see? I mean, if you go to your 2 hour, I use the 2 hour as an indicator to showing me the flow, but using the wicks down here and this wick, check this out. I'm gonna go here and using all those wicks here. So I have 1, 2, 3 touches. Okay, I'm gonna put it on purple. So this is how, if we get a bounce to the upside, I'm thinking like around here. I don't know, I'm feeling it around here, around 25,500s, right? I think, yes, this is our major, what is it, daily and weekly support, right? But I think if we break here, we're gonna have some sort of reaction here. And just know that if we break 25, 200, we're officially in a downtrend. I hope I didn't lose you. I do use a lot of lines. It's a techno party in my house always. And it's just the way I see the market. But if you learn anything, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. I'm here to teach. I want you to learn the skill for yourself. Love you all and wish you the best.